Alright folks, you got Mitchell here again. We're here at the canteen and we're going to do a little project before we get started work today. Today I want to do how to make a homemade air conditioner. So if you want to come down here, I'm going to show you all the parts. So you're going to need a small little fan. I went with a USB powered fan. Now this can plug into the wall or it can plug into your computer. Once we get this situated, I'm probably going to go get a solar panel that we'll hook to. You need some little ribbons so you can see that it's blowing. I got some piping glue here. This stuff is powerful, man. Put it on anything and it'll bond. I've got 3 little outlets. I got an X-Acto knife. You need a hole puncher that's going to be the same size as these. So I think these are 2-inch, so I got a 2-inch hole puncher. And I just got the little bit piece here that goes in the center of that. Screwdriver, a drill, a bucket, and you're going to need some styrofoam. So the idea behind this is that we're going to insulate the interior of the bucket with styrofoam, and then we're going to drill some holes in it so we can have some flow go through. We're going to put our lid on top, which we're going to cut out a hole in it, and we're going to have our fan mounted to the top. And the concept is, because the inside is insulated, we're going to put ice inside here, and then we put the lid on with the fan. It sucks air in, blows it through the insulated interior with ice, and it comes shooting out the other side cold. So if you had this hooked to a solar panel, or even this little tiny fan like that, for 5 or 6 hours, this thing's going to blow good cold air in your apartment, and it's going to be cheap, cheap, cheap compared to an air conditioner. So we're going to give this a go. I have not made one of these before. This is my first time, but we're going to power through it quick, and I'm going to take you guys on the journey. So I'll come back to you when I get to the next step. Okay, here we go. So the first thing we're going to need to do, you need to get sheets of styrofoam, okay? So the concept is that the styrofoam can't be bigger than this. So all I'm going to do is put my styrofoam up. I'm going to take a little mark on it here. And that way I know the styrofoam is the same height, so I'm just going to cut it. Find your line. And styrofoam's pretty easy to work with. Make 3 little incisions in it like I just did, and hit the back. Bam, she's good to go. Now, I can't put this in here. Well, I guess I could, but it's not going to go around the inside. So what I want to do is I want to cut this into strips. So that's all I'm going to do. Same concept as what we did with the big. Oops. Same concept as what we did with the bigger piece. We're just going to make some cuts down the middle, and then we're going to get a little pop, and they pop out. Okay. So now the concept here is that we're going to insert these in here. Now, if you can buy one of the coolers that's already round that'll slide right in there, that's preferable all day long. I could not find that. So the idea here, get a good shot, I'm going to cut a whole bunch of these out, and then I'm going to line the interior of the bucket like this, okay? So I'll come back to you once I got the whole thing lined. So you can see I've got my first row done here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out my centerpiece. So I've got my block, and I'm going to shape this to fit in here, and then I'll come back to you. So you can see it's starting to come together. I'm starting to get the right size. This piece is important because I couldn't find the insert that goes in. I want this to fit tightly. So if you can see over here, all I'm doing, I'm just taking a knife and I'm just slowly shaving off corner pieces. I don't want to take off too much. I just want to take off enough to make it fit. So I'll do a whole round circle on it. Maybe a little piece here. Okay. Get the stuff off of her. Okay, and then I'm going to keep on going. So as soon as I get this in, I'll come right back to you. As you can see, I've got my centerpiece nicely fitted in the bottom. Right now I've got an edge on the top, so I'm going to need to shave all these off so that they're smooth and the bucket will close. But that's a good start right there. We've got the insulation going on the inside, so it'll stay nice and cold. And I'm going to shave off the top here, and I'll come back and show you. Okay, so it's pretty simple stuff, you know. Just take a nice, take a knife, no big deal. And I'm just going to run it around the edges. And I want to be on a little bit of an angle because I don't want to have to screw with putting the lid on. But it's pretty simple. Put it down on an angle. It's styrofoam, so it's not too difficult to do. And just run the knife through, but take your time. The last thing you want to do is be one of those people who takes 1 step forward and 3 steps backwards, because that shit is annoying. But as soon as I'm done, I'll come back to you. Alright, so now I got the drill all set up. Got my hole puncher on it, 2-inch, 2-inch, right? So we're ready to go. And now what I want to do is I want to strategically pick where I'm drilling through. I want to go through one of the big pieces. I'm not necessarily interested in going through a corner piece, okay? So I'm going to start right here on this side. I'm going to put it close to the top. And this could make a bunch of racket, but we'll see if we can get through it fairly quickly. Make sure it's tight. And here we go, number 1. Woo! got our hole. Now we just need to cut right through this. There's number 1. We're going to go to number 2, which is going to go right through here. Try to keep them all the same height so they look the same. Holy shit. Make sure you got a good hold on her. She bit me. There's number 2. And I'm going to put number 3 right through this side right here. Oh, you're going to have to pop your plastic piece out if she gets stuck. Yep. Everything is a project, right? If it was easy, everyone would do her. There we go. Get back in, try to get lined up with where you already started cutting. Oh. Okay, so I got my 3 holes. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. And then you want to make sure you punch the holes right through. As you can see, I've got the holes right through here. So we'll go to the 3rd one. Go back in your slot. Oh! And you can see the hole right there. You want to pop the thing out, okay? Again, I'm going to clean it up and I'll come back. Okay, now we're ready. So you can see it's all cleaned up. I've got my 3 holes in the bucket, my insulation inside, right? So now what I'm going to do is I want to dry fit my spacers. So these are 2-inch. I cut the 2-inch holes, right? So we can see right there that they do dry fit. That's what we want, right? So that's the basis of our blowholes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our glue that we picked up. Again, this stuff is like concrete, man. Once you put it on, she don't go nowhere. And we're going to give her a little go. We don't want to get this all over the countertops here. And you don't want to get it all over the countertops at your house, because then your wife is going to give you a right hard time. Be mindful of that when you're using this stuff, because I mean it, it's terrible. Well, that's it. Just a little ring around the outside. Pretty clean and clear as day how to do that. And then all I'm going to do, stick this in my hole, like so. When that hardens, that'll be hard like a rock, okay? Number 2, same thing. You just got to give it a ring. I like to be a little bit liberal with it and give it a little bit of a portion, like so. And then we'll give her one more here. A little bit more than that. So you can see, put her to her, through the hole, and bam. And now we're just going to let that dry, and then I'll come back to you. Next step, so we're allowing this to dry right now. It won't take very long. We're going to take our fan, and we're going to get our section done on the top. So you need your fan, you need an X-Acto knife, you need a Sharpie, okay? So all we're going to do, take your fan out of the box, and you can see I chose a small one. We're not looking to spend money on power here. The whole concept behind this is something that you can do at home that stops a lot of power from coming out. This fan here, it's got the up and right down here. You can unscrew that to put it in if you wanted to, but the concept is we're going to put it there and circle it. Okay, so all I've done is I've placed my fan where I want it, and then I've run my Sharpie around the outside. It's not necessarily the prettiest thing I've ever done before, but what we're trying to do is get our circle, and then we'll cut out the inside of the circle, trying to make it as round as we can, and then we'll shave it as we need to as we keep going. So I'm going to cut it out, and then I'll come back and show you. Okay, so I've cut out my hole. It's not the prettiest thing you've ever seen in your life, but it's a hole that fits. Here's our fan. It does fit nicely, and I'm actually kind of shocked. You can see we have a tight lip there. You got a good shot of that? We have a tight lip along the top of the bucket. This is important, okay? It needs to be tight all the way around so that we have a good seal on the bucket. So I'm pretty surprised we got that on our first shot. I didn't even doctor that at all. That was bam, bam, here we go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to glue this on. So we're using the same glue that we use for everything else, because this shit is crazy. Sorry about the swear words. Take it out, and we're just going to rim it, okay? Now you don't want to screw around with this. We want to make sure we have a good fair bit on this, because this here needs to stick to that bucket, right? So we're just going to gob this around everywhere so that our fan cannot blow off, and we've got a nice tight seal. But we're also not trying to put enough on this so we have it dripping all over the fan, because if it's going to sit in your house, you really don't want it to look like a scumbag type of deal, right? Get a shot of that. Nice tight ring. You can see it all the way around. That's what we're looking for, okay? So she's good to go. We'll take her up, flip her over, put her on the hole. Now what I want to do here is I want to weight this down. as I don't want this here coming off. I didn't really think through what we're going to use to weight it, but I'll find something heavy to put on that, and we're going to let it sit till it's completely dry, and then I'll come back to you. Okay folks, the next step we got to do here, we need ice. Now it's your call on how you want to do this. A lot of people take 2-liter bottles, sealed 2-liter bottles, fill it up with water with the cap, freeze it, and then put it inside the thing. This way you don't have anything that melts. I would say that's a good solution to do at home, and depending on what size bucket you use and the insulation foam in the interior, you could use the 4-liter water jugs as well. But for me, we're at the restaurant right now, so we're going to use ice. This is one of the ice machines that we have on site here. And all I'm going to do, without the proper scooper, fill up a bag of ice. Pretty straightforward. We'll bring her back over. Come on down and see what we got. Now, I would fill this bag right to the top if I was actually going to have this running for a while. But I would fill your bag, tie your knot, because we don't want water leaking out everywhere. And then you just take your ice and you put it inside. Can we get a shot? And as you can see, you wouldn't want to fill it too high because the holes are right here for our fan to blow through. But you put your ice in the bottom, this is what's going to cool it, and the insulation is what's going to keep it cold inside. Put our fan back to the top, and we're going to want to clip this on, okay? You want this to be tight so that you got good airflow that goes through. I put some little pink ribbons on the front just to see it blowing. Now again, this fan that I use, the concept here is saving electricity, so this is a very low powered fan. I'm not looking for the blowtorch effect. I just want to know that there's airflow coming through. I've got my plug, and again, I can plug it into the computer if I want to, or I can get this hooked to a solar panel, which is what I'm going to do next. But for now, we'll just show you this way. Plug her in, put your cap in the top. We'll move this over so she looks more presentable. Turn it on. And just like that, it doesn't make any noise at all, and you can feel it already. That ice hasn't even been in there for any period of time to cool down the interior of the bucket. Think of it like a cooler. When you open up your cooler, it's very cold inside. This here, I wish I had a probe to show you the temperature, but this is already blowing out nice cold air. So think about that. I mean, I don't know if it's aesthetically pleasing to have it in your house. It's kind of fun if you had it at the camp, but summer's coming and we want to stay cool. Here's a cool idea to just, here's a cool idea to cool off. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that step by step, how to make an air conditioner out of a bucket and a few miscellaneous tools you got around the house. Thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.